Peace, peace, Black people. Welcome to Yemima's World, the Jelly Moose's Cafe. I am your hostess, Yemima, Jelly Musa in residence, and it is so good to be Black in the land of the living once again. This is the day after Juneteenth. I hope that you at least acknowledge your ancestors on yesterday. Talking to the Black people now, white people, we don't want you to acknowledge yours at all. Don't even think about it. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So tonight is going to be a quick one. It's been warm today here in the Hampton Roads area. Not as warm as it was on yesterday. Yesterday was a scorcher. All right. So today we're talking about this past Juneteenth on yesterday. Was it better for you than last year's Juneteenth or the year before? Or has commercializing Juneteenth made it worse? What do you think? Leave your comments in the comment section and let me know if it was better for you, if it was worse, or if you think they should have left it alone. What do you think? What do you think? Like, share, and subscribe to the video. I'm still trying to grow my channel. So please like, share, and subscribe if you have not done so. For those of you who have, I appreciate, love you very, very much. I really, really appreciate, love you. All right. So I had two events for Juneteenth this year that I presented at. One was on a plant. It was actually on a plantation. It was in Henrico County, and it was on the plantation where the revolt didn't take place, but it was close to where Gabriel in the 1800 Richmond, Virginia revolt would have happened. Two of the men who were supposed to fight along beside Gabriel were part of that plantation. And so they've had a Juneteenth celebration out there for the past 3 years. So we were there. I was there on Saturday the 14th, and there was no one else there. There was 5 presenters, 3 historical interpreters, including myself, a African drummers, a praise dance team, and a soloist. And in attendance, there was about 10 people, 15 tops, and 5 of them were white. Now, the plantation is now a park. And so people can come out and walk their dogs, and they can come out and, it's kind of like a museum park. They can come in and visit the grounds and see the history and things of that nature. But there was no one there to listen about Juneteenth. Again, maybe 15 people tops, 5 of them were white. People were walking through the event. Again, it's a park, so they were walking their dogs, they were running, but nobody was really stopping to listen to whatever it was we were talking about. I thought that was extremely, extremely poor attendance. I'll move on. So it was, I got paid, but I prefer to get paid to work and to do what I do, which is interpret history. And when there's no one to interpret it to, it kind of, okay. And then I had one on yesterday in Smithfield, Virginia, and it was well attended. There were, again, other presenters. It was well attended. It was quite a few people out there. It was really hot, so kudos to those that came out on yesterday. And there were other events taking place not too far from where we were in Smithfield as well. Now, what I have noticed about the Juneteenth festivals that take place, it is very much, it's so commercialized that we have lost the meaning of Juneteenth. And still, for the most part, I would say probably 60% of the people that attend the Juneteenth festivals and events probably still don't know what Juneteenth is. They just know that it is a celebration for Black people, and so they attend. But they still don't know the real true meaning behind Juneteenth. They still don't know what happened and why it is called Juneteenth. If the Juneteenth banners for people to know where the event took place, I wouldn't have known it was for Juneteenth. There's no history or historical content given at these festivals and these presentations. People, they're becoming talent shows where they have different people to come and sing and dance and act and storytelling. So it's becoming a talent show. And which is nothing wrong with you coming and presenting with whatever talent you use, but it should have something to do with Juneteenth. So if you are a storyteller like myself, I made sure that I incorporated Juneteenth in the telling of my story of an enslaved woman who escaped from slavery and ended up in Hampton at Fort Monroe. And then we had a drum line from a high school, and they were awesome. The kids were amazing. They were awesome. And before they performed, the introducer, the guy that introduced them, he gave a history, a backstory to the drums and how they were not able to be used on the plantation because they were a way of communicating, and the enslavers didn't like that. So he gave a history of the drum as it relates to our ancestors. Kudos. And then there was a high school drama team who came out, and I'm sure that they didn't just tell them, this week that they were going to be participating in the Juneteenth festival. Hopefully they gave them enough time where they could have put something together in honor of Juneteenth, but no, they came out and they did the Wiz, songs from the Wiz. And I don't know how that related to Juneteenth. I don't know. But in these festivals, usually what happens is the mayor will come out and give a sanitized version of what Juneteenth is. They always mention General Granger and no one else. It's as if General Granger went out to Texas by himself and told the enslaved population, hey, y'all's free now. Y'all can go on now. Y'all can go on. So nothing is mentioned about the enslaved population. And the Black people that attend these festivals don't seem to have a problem with that. They're okay with just coming out and listening to people perform and present, but still not getting any real knowledge of their ancestors. There was very little participation from the crowd, even when the young people were playing the drums. Like, we are Africans. There is no way in hell you can hear a drum and not move. And the crowd was so, they just weren't moving. They weren't into it. They were barely clapping. And I thought that was just so disrespectful. These young kids came out there, and if they had came out there and no disrespect, where them fans that I love the song, I love the line dance, if they had come out there and, popped and popped and popped with the fans, they'd have been on their feet. But these youngsters came out there and they were playing the drums, an instrument that had been taken from us. And there was no crowd participation at all. It was very disheartening. A young lady came out she was a jazz singer, beautiful voice, beautiful young lady. And she came out and she said, God is good. And the entire crowd said, all the time. And she said, all the time. And the entire crowd said, God is good. So it was the first out of the entire act, and we've gone through 4, that I saw the crowd participate. Now, I don't know what it will take for us to want to learn. What saddens me and what I get disheartened about is the fact that so many of us are still in the cult of religion, that we cannot even acknowledge our culture. When I opened up, or when I presented, the first thing I did was pour libations for my ancestors. And a few of the crowd, I asked them to call on their ancestors as I poured the libations. And I heard maybe about 3 voices, and there was about 30, 40 people, in attendance. And I didn't hear anybody really calling out their ancestors. And so I said to them, if you think that calling out on your ancestors or acknowledging them is demonic, I want you to think about that the next time you're in church and you're calling and acknowledging someone else's ancestors. but you don't feel like that's demonic. So after saying that, pretty much I knew they weren't going to listen to much that I was saying, and that was fine. It was fine. It was going to reach the people that needed to hear it and wanted to hear it. But I guess they just should have left Juneteenth, alone. Now, I'm happy to participate in present. I get paid well to do presentations, but I don't like doing it to no one who really wants to hear it, or to no one when there's no crowd. Now, 4th of July, you will see the same Black people that came to Juneteenth will be at the 4th of July events with their flag dresses and flag sandals and flag hats and their lawn chairs, and they will be participating when they play those whatever groups they have singing. You will see Black people on their feet stomping and clapping because the white man has, they're celebrating their independence, and unfortunately, it's too many Black people that's willing to honor white folks' ancestors than their own, and then they wonder why their lives are in such disarray. But I digress. So that's it. I just wanted to talk about Juneteenth and just wonder if it was better for you this year than last year. Do you see that, or do you think that because it's now become commercialized, that it's taken away from the true meaning? I mean, there was nothing about the different foods that are eaten during Juneteenth. The enslaved population was barely mentioned when it came to the opening. It was opened up by the white mayor, and he sanitized it and talked about how great this country was, and blah 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 and blah 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 and blah 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 and blah blah blah. Yeah, so that's it. Just disheartened, but I digress. So that's it. Until next time, you know the drill. Love yourself, love each other. Give yourself some grace, give each other some grace. We are our ancestors. Honor the ancestors. They will honor you. Stay cool because it is hot as firecrackers outside. And until next time, be blessed. Peace.